are you, sir?
Doing well, doing well. How's your day been? It's 8 o'clock there, right?
That's right. It's 8 p.m. I had ultimately a pretty busy day. This morning, my brother-in-law surprised me. I knew he was coming to Israel. I didn't know when. And all of a sudden, he sent me a message. He says, I'm going to be in Hebron in 5 minutes. That's where I live.
Okay, you need to reschedule.
And people very, very infrequently come here. So I said, come on, you can't. Well, thanks at least for telling me. Often people come here and they say, oh, we didn't want to bother you, so we didn't tell you that we were coming. Can you imagine living on a deserted island and somebody comes, the few hours a night that you sleep, he comes, you guys fun, and then he leaves. I didn't want to bother you. Anyway, but that's not what happened with my brother-in-law. He was brought here. A small group, about 4 or 5 guys, were guests of this fellow who was dedicating a Torah scroll at his brother's synagogue in Jerusalem. And this fellow wanted to bring along a few of his best friends. So he brought along my brother-in-law. And he said, okay, while we're there, we're going to run around and do a lot of stuff for 2 days. So he didn't even know what he was going to do. And all of a sudden he said, oh my gosh, I'm in Hebron. My brother-in-law lives here. So he sent me a message at 7:30 in the morning. I said, okay, I'm coming over. So I got a chance to see him in the morning. Then I worked until about 2, 3 o'clock. Then I had a meeting with a good friend. I don't know if you know her, Revis Daggett. She's from Fort Stockton, southwest of, not all the way west. There's another 10 hours west of Texas. Yes. And then I went to that Torah scroll dedication in Jerusalem that they told me about.
Okay.
So I just got back an hour ago, just in time for another event. It's a little hard to say. It was a memorial evening. Let me tell you the story of this. It's a sad story, but it's an inspiring story. 2 young men one had just finished the army, the other was just about to finish the army, and they were very good friends, and they were members of an elite unit. Anyway, they decided to help start a brand new community here in Israel, near Hebron. Just actually very close to me. I'll pretend that it's over here, but it's actually over there in this picture. It's a 10-minute. It's actually a 6-minute drive from my home. So they decided that it wasn't their decision to make this community. The community making organization said, listen, we're going to put there an antenna. This was 20 years ago. The cell phones were just starting, so we're going to build an antenna there. And meanwhile, we need somebody to guard the antenna. Meanwhile, they'd bring a little, not a tent, a prefab, and we'll put it down there for you guys to sleep. And then we'll bring another one because we need more guards. And little by little, they create this. They create the community, the settlement. That was the plan. However, it was a time of great tragedies. A lot of terror attacks going on all over Israel. The army was worried, not they worried. They got intelligence that there was a terrorist in this area. So they said, okay, we're gonna get this terrorist. So they took a helicopter. They saw the terrorist. The thing is, that wasn't the terrorist. That was there was this boy, this soldier. And because of mistaken identity, they shot from this helicopter 200 bullets on these boys.
Oh man!
Terrible tragedy. Just before the holiday of Purim. But the families of these 2 boys, one actually was my neighbor in Ma'ale Adumim, where I used to live. I know him well.
Okay.
So they would come. My friend lived in Ma'ale Adumim. and the other boy's family lived in Jerusalem, in Ramot, the neighborhood of Ramot. Since then, every Friday, the families come and they pray at this spot in his memory and to keep his memory alive. And little by little, other friends of the boys came, other friends of the family came, and now we have a building that it took about 18 years to build this building. Up until then, we were praying in like a tent. He would put like sheets or something like that against the rain, against the snow and the wind. It was crazy. But every Friday they come, and I now live nearby. I used to live in Ma'ale Adumim, about an hour and a half from here. Now I live 10 minutes away from there, as I said. And so together with another few people from our community and other communities in the area, we come, we have a quorum, a minyan, a group of 10 men who pray every Friday morning. We have a little group, and they bring soup and coffee and cakes for Friday morning. And it's just a wonderful feeling. And we really feel like we're building the land of Israel. So that is what I just came from. We had their 20 years since their falling. So they invited a very big rabbi who teaches in a school not far from here. And maybe after our meeting, I'll go back there and they'll still be celebrating.
Okay.
So that was my, how was your day?
It was good. Just the morning has passed. I often edit the sermon video of my sermon, and so I just got started doing that. After this Zoom call, I go to a ministry called Good Samaritan. They give cars away after they fix them up. So I'm delivering a Cadillac to a woman who works at a convenience store who does not have her own car. So we're going to go to the Department of Motor Vehicles. She'll provide proof of insurance, and we'll do the title transfer. And I'll be the agent for Good Samaritan. I've not done that before. It's here without your own car, we don't have public transport in this small town. We're scattered all around the lake. I mean, you can't survive without wheels. So it's a day.
So how has she been surviving?
Borrowing, hitching rides, with family, things like that.
Wow, that's a real life changer. Kol hakavod.
Yes.
So how long have you been involved with that Good Samaritan organization?
In the last year, yes, as part of 2 other cars that were given. Actually, they were pickup trucks, 2 other ones.
Wait a second. You found somebody who wanted to get rid of their car and you said, why don't you give it to Good Samaritan?
Okay, so Good Samaritan is a 501c3 that does this as a ministry just for anyone in the county, but they don't have time to vet the requests.
Aha.
So they only provide cars through churches that submit the proper paperwork. So this is my 3rd time to submit paperwork for someone, and they're able to provide because they're known in the community. Hey, give your car away to us, and we'll see it gets in the right hands. So it's a neat thing.
How many cars do they get a week, a year?
I don't know, maybe a couple a month. I'm not sure. Since I've known them a year, this is the 3rd car I'm involved with. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when somebody gives you a car, it's a tremendous help, especially now because the price of used cars has gone crazy.
Really? Why?
Very high. I don't know. Yeah, just everything's gone up.
Everything's going up.
Yes, up. Yeah.
So on one foot, what was your sermon on Sunday about? Today's Tuesday.
It was on tithing. I had not spoken on this subject in 12 years. I just missed that. What was it? What's the subject? Tithing. Remember, Abraham gave a 10th to Melchizedek.
So Abraham gave a 10th to Melchizedek, even though, if I remember correctly, yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, in a second, Let me bring it up on whatchamacallit, on Bible Hub. You remember the chapter and verse?
It's after he went to battle to rescue his nephew Lot,
Oh, yeah. 1 second.
And he met a king and priest, kind of a mysterious fellow, priest of the Most High God, El Elyon. Yeah.
Yeah, it is in verse 20, chapter 14. So let me see let me bring up the my screen 1 second. Genesis 14:20, I said.
Yes.
What happened? 1 second. Let's try that again. Yofi.
Now 14:18 is where it begins.
Okay, we'll go back to 18. It's taking a little bit to load here. Here it comes. Okay, we'll go back one verse, and then we can see it in the context here. Then Melchizedek, okay, this is in the Berean Standard Bible. Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine since he was the priest of God Most High. I would translate that a little differently. And he blessed Abram and said, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand." Then Abram gave Melchizedek 1/10 of everything. Okay, so let's see that verse, if I may. Then Abram gave him 1/10 of everything. Then Abram gave Melchizedek 1/10 of all the goods he had recovered. And Abram gave, and Abram. Oh, the first one that gets it right is King James.
Okay.
Because the original Hebrew, as I will look here and try to translate. 1 second. Yes, verse 20. And blessed is the high God that shielded your enemies in your hand. And that's the end of the quote. Or not. There are no quotation marks in the Hebrew Bible, but that's usually the way it's read. And he gave him tithes, a tithe of everything.
Yes.
Like you said, and he gave him a tithe of all. Now, this is the thing that I love most to hate, which is pronouns. Whenever you have a pronoun in the original, then chances are the Bible wrote it there so that you can play around with it. What does it really mean? Sometimes it must be clear, but here it's very clear that Melchizedek was talking to Abraham. Frankly, it seems to me, again, without looking into it deeply or without thinking about it too much, it seems to me that Melchizedek gave Abraham a tithe of coal, a tithe of all.
Oh, what does the Talmud say?
What does the Talmud say? Let's take a look. 1 second. Okay, just reminding you, that people haven't seen, this is the website that's hard to pronounce. Its name, Sefaria. Let me change it into English.
Right.
1 second.
Send me a link. It's fascinating.
It's a fascinating site. 1 second. I think it'll automatically turn into English when I sign in my own account.
14:20.
There you go. So, Tanakh is the Bible. Genesis is the book. We said chapter 14, yeah?
Yes.
So let's stroll down to 20. Okay, so in this translation, it's the Contemporary Torah JPS, which is the Jewish Publication Society. It's one of the most recent, one of the more modern translations. And it says, "And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your foes into your hand." Migain. I don't know how the delivered comes in over here. Migain, the word migain means shielded. And just the opposite. He shielded your enemies in your hand. It's almost as if God shielded your enemies from you. Because otherwise I would have written Asher migen otcha mitzarecha. That shielded you from your enemies, whatever. And anyway, this translation couldn't stand the fact that there was the word he, and he gave him. So he said Abraham, but he put it in brackets to show you that that's not so simple. So let us click here on this verse, and you see there are 57 commentaries over there.
Yes.
So let's see which ones could.
Rashi. What does Rashi say?
What does Rashi say? Sure, again. Okay, so he who has delivered means who is handed over or surrendered. He has. How shall I give thee over, Israel, or something like that? In other words, he is saying that yes, Gidon, you're right. The word magen, mem gimel nun, usually sounds like it means guarded or saved or protected, shielded is the right word. So that is why Rashi has to say, no, I have another verse somewhere in the Bible that uses that word clearly as I given you over or surrendered, delivered. Now, I'm going to trust Rashi on that, even though I'm itching to open up Hosea and see it in its original and see, are you sure that that's what it means? Maybe it means something else. But anyway, we're talking about, and he, again here, maybe Rashi wrote Abraham, gave him a tithe of everything that he had because he was a priest, because Melchizedek was the priest to El Elyon. I want to see I think I would be very surprised if there's going to be no commentary that says no. The simple meaning here is who is speaking? Melchizedek. And then Melchizedek finishes talking, and he, which is the person we were just talking about, Melchizedek, gave him a maaser of kol. Gave him who he's talking to, Abraham. He blessed him, so he gave him a tithe of all, which all, again, the obvious here is that that Melchizedek gave the tithe of what we're talking about here, the spoils.
Yes.
But maybe not. Maybe Melchizedek said, listen, you are a deserving person. I'm the king around here. We're going to give me and my community, my city, my kingdom, we're going to give you the tithe, Abraham. You're deserving. You saved our country here because of the enemies. But then Abraham says, no. And that's what the king of Sodom, which was not Melchizedek. Melchizedek was the king of Salem.
Right.
But then the king of Sodom came out and said, you know what? What what Melchizedek just did, he gave you a tenth of everything. I'm going to give you everything. Take it all. And then Abraham said, no. He spoke directly to Sodom to the king of Sodom, because the king of Sodom was the one who just spoke to him. But he's also talking to Melchizedek, saying, listen, I'm raising my hand, I swear, the one who created the land, I'm not going to take anything from you. I'm not going to take a thread or a shoe strap here, a shoelace. I'm not going to take anything. I don't want it to be said that you, the king of Sodom, made me rich.
Right.
Why not? Because I believe in God, and I'm doing fine. And he was doing fine. He was a pretty rich guy. So I don't need you, and if I don't need you, then I also don't need Nebuchadnezzar. Why is that saying Nebuchadnezzar? I don't need Melchizedek. But all I want is just for the people who came with me, that's all. And that's it. That's the end of the story. So I think that what I say makes sense, and I'm going to see if anybody else dares say that. That's Rashi. Let's see what Ibn Ezra, maybe he says it. No, he doesn't talk about that. Ramban is usually a long one. He also doesn't talk about the tithing, which direction it goes. Second. No. Ader Eliyahu, he's 19th century. 1 second. This is only in Hebrew. It's long. Let me see if I can find 1 second. Okay, he didn't talk about that either. All right. Where am I? Jump. No, not good.
You're in 16 now.
How'd that happen?
There we go.
I was trying to find it here. 1 second. Nah, this is much too long for me to find it. And as you can see, it doesn't have vowels, which doesn't bother me too much, but it doesn't even have periods and commas. It doesn't have so it's very hard to tell when one idea ends and another idea starts. You can't just pop that up in 1 minute. Hey, okay. So this one, the Bechor Shor, he's also like Rashi. He says that he gave him 1/10 of what he captured because he was a priest to the high God. So I could have said also that Abraham gave. Oh, no. That Melchizedek gave Abraham 1/10, not of everything he had, but just of everything of what Abraham captured. In other words, he said, listen, you're doing this work for me, so you're supposed to give it all to me. No. That Abraham gave Melchizedek 1/10. Like you say, because he was the priest and he deserved the 1/10. Just 1 second. Come on. Is anything else here going on? Maybe this guy will say something different. Nope. Well, can't find it here either. Oh boy, I'm spending all this time. I don't know. What can I tell you? It's me against all of these very smart rabbis.
Okay. Can we look at, we can always return to that if you find something other.
I'll maybe remember, and I will try to. This is English. I just brought it up in it's in whatchamacallit, German.
Yeah. If you go back to that celebration tonight, will that same well-known rabbi be there? You're
asking me if we finish speaking and I go back there.
Yes. Well, that same rabbi,
so
you can ask him.
I got a lot of rabbis in my community. That rabbi who was speaking, and I left just at the end of his lesson, he gave a lesson about the book of Esther. Of course, we're coming up to the holiday of Esther, the holiday of Purim. So he asked a few questions, and I didn't quite get his answers, but they were good questions. He was wondering, 1 second, he was wondering why, if Mordechai, if you're familiar with the book of Esther, if Mordechai heard the terrible royal decree that all of the Jews would be killed, and he put on ash and sackcloth, yeah, and then he went near where Esther was living in the kingdom, in the king's palace, and so she heard that he was wearing sackcloth. So what did she do? She sent clothes, that he should change his clothes. And he didn't receive them. He wasn't willing to take them. So the rabbi asked an obvious question. Hello, Esther. Why do you think he's wearing sackcloth and ashes? Why do people wear sackcloth and ashes? Not because their nice clothes are in the laundry and all they have to wear is sackcloth and ashes. They're wearing it, and he's also screaming and praying and screaming out to God. That you're not supposed to give him nice clothing. You're supposed to ask, what's the problem? Obviously, she didn't know. As the rabbi said, she was in a gilded cage. She was in a golden cage, but she was in a cage. She didn't know what was going on outside.
Yeah.
So she found out, and then the whole story develops. She's got to do something. Chapter 4:14. You have to go to the king, and this is the reason that you've gotten to be the queen, because now you can approach the king and save your people. And if you don't do it now, then somebody else is going to do it. But maybe you've come to the queen to be the queen for this time such as this. But that's all very good. But why did she first send clothing to him? That doesn't make sense.
Huh.
I don't have an answer because I had to leave early. But it's a good question. And a few other questions he had good. So that's the way we learn. We see the text, we ask questions on the text, and then we try to find an answer amongst the commentaries. And if we're lucky and we don't find an answer in the commentaries, then we can build a whole lesson on it.
Okay. So that was the first mention of giving God the tenth if Melchizedek is a priest of the Most High God. And
right.
The second example is Jacob, in chapter 28, the last verse, at his Bethel, when he wakes up from the dream of seeing the ladder.
Uh-huh.
He calls the place the Bethel house of God, and the last place, he promises to return there and to give God a tenth of everything.
Yes.
So there's a pledge of the tithe. These things are before Moses. So anyway, even though Moses wrote it, but yeah. So any there?
Again, I'll just tell you what comes to the top of my mind.
Okay.
I actually have studied that chapter, but a long, long time ago. I've read it every year since then, but to focus on those issues, on certain issues there. Why only a tenth? I will dedicate my whole life to you.
Yeah.
Who came up with this idea of a tenth, Michal?
That's why I'm here.
I think that in general, let's bring that up. Remind me. Let me share the screen. Remind me the chapter again. It's 28.
Yes.
Let's go back to 14 here. Tanakh, Genesis 28.
28, 22, last phrase.
Yeah, so he left Beersheba and he had the dream. And Jewish tradition says that he actually spent many years wandering before he came to this point. I think 14 years. Let me see if I can find that for you here. 104, only 146 commentaries on verse 11.
Okay.
I don't want to spend too much time looking for this, but maybe it's in the Talmud. Oh no. No. What is that? What is that? I thought I saw it in the Talmud. There a second ago. Here this stuff. Nope. Nope. Yeah. Give me one more chance. No, it's not there. So I don't remember are you there? You disappeared. Maybe you'll come back. And meanwhile, I'll continue on over here. 1 second. 1 second. Let me see if I can find you. My goodness, 1 second. Here. Where'd you go? Let's see if we'll find him. Okay, well, we'll finish up here because it's getting a little late, and I don't know when and if he's going to get back. But I will leave you with this idea that I'm used to from Jewish thought, and I really wish I could say it exactly. He stopped there for the night and he slept, and the sages say that he slept there. But he didn't sleep for 14 years because he was learning Torah in the yeshiva, in the school of God for 14 years, the school of Shem and Ever. 1 second. Let me also try to find that. I can't. Second. Second. Let's see if we get anything here. Yiddish. That's in Yiddish. Here we go. No. Yaakov, right? We're talking about Jacob here. There we go. Let's see if we got a source here. Is there something? 1 second. And Yaakov, okay, so Jacob learned there for 14 years. Unfortunately, there's no source over here. So he was learning there you go again. He'll be here in a second. There you go. What happened? And he's coming back. Hello there.
Hello. I've just switched to my phone. I do not know what happened with the computer. I see myself, but I don't see you.
You don't see me, but I see you, so everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Let me, okay, I just found the source that 1 second. What is this? It doesn't give me the source text, but it reminds us of the text of the tradition that Jacob, on his way to Bethel, stopped over in the yeshiva, in the academy of studying something, because the Torah wasn't created yet. He stayed there for 14 years studying, and he did not sleep all those 14 years. And only when he got here did he finally get a chance to sleep.
Oh my goodness.
That's an amazing story.
I thought it was the same night he left home.
That's what everybody would have thought. But for some
he had
reason,
nothing but I thought he had nothing but a stick and a stone.
for some reason, that is what our here. Let's see if he brings us a source. That is a famous story, famous midrash about it. Let's see if this one says it a little bit. 1 second. Rashi. Siyum Parashat Shavua Sha'avar Yaakov outside of there midrash. Okay, let me try. I gotta find this. This is driving me nuts. 1 second. He says it's in the maybe here. Nope. Let me try sharing the error. Gewalt. Oh man, it's taking a long time. Let's try it. Nope. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know. I owe you something because that is the tradition that I remember, and I can't find it right now. I tried Googling, I tried looking in Safari, I couldn't find it. But
Okay.
Anyway, so he left there. And he had the dream. Let's go back to Safari over here. Okay. And he had the dream, and then he woke up. He said, and then he went back to sleep. And then in the morning he got up and he put a stone, and he poured oil on it, called it Bethel, and then he made the vow. If God remains with me, protecting me on this journey that I'm making, give me bread to eat, clothing to wear, and I return safely to my father's house, and God will be my God, then I'll make this into a God's abode. Thank you very much, as if God needs an abode. And everything you give me, I'll give you 10 of it. Are you coming back in?
I'm trying to, yes.
Okay, let's bring him back in. Let's see if we won't have you twice here.
But there'll be two of me, so I'll delete this one, but
Okay, we'll see if we get him in.
otherwise we can go with this if it doesn't work.
Yeah. So okay, one of you is here, two of you are here. Shall I delete one of you, or because right now
Yes.
it's not, I don't hear you twice.
Yes, delete one of me and we'll just
I'll keep you on the phone.
yeah, let's just do that. I'll close this thing and
Yeah, close that.
all right. Okay.
Okay, we get you both back over here. So again, the question here, and we got to finish up, but why? Where did Jacob get the idea to tithe? Like you said, the first mention is with Melchizedek and Abraham. Where did they get the idea? And is a tithe enough? For God is basically giving everything. I know people that have dedicated their whole lives to God after they were saved.
Right.
So why just a 10? And C, look at all these conditions that Jacob is giving to God. If you do this, and 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 you do this, then I'll give you a 10. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It really looks, when you read it without a critical eye, then it's a beautiful passage. Very, very lofty. But when you look a little further, and actually this over here, and I've already returned safe from God. 1 second, let me see this in the original. Here, you see this M dash over here? If God remains and I return safely, then God shall be my God. As if that reminds me, as if I miss one of these, then God isn't my God. I'll go looking for another God. That reminds me of a joke. A guy's looking around for a parking space in Cirque City here. He says, God, I'm in a rush. I need a parking space. If you find me a parking space, then I will give $10 million to my church or whatever. I'll give something crazy. All of a sudden, he sees a parking space. Like a second later. So he says, forget it, God. I found one. I got to show you.
Forget it. I found it.
Yeah. Thanks anyway. So let's look up in this place once again. We're talking about chapter 20. What was the chapter? 28.
Yeah, the last verse, last sentence, phrase.
I'm not looking for the last one, but we'll go to the last one. 28, right?
Yes, 28.
So I'm looking for a different verse here. I'm looking for maybe the one before. Yeah. I'm looking where it says, then the Lord will be my God. That's what we saw in Sepharia also. Then the Lord will be my God. Then the Lord, then the Lord, then the Lord, then the Lord. Everyone here. Oh, except for the American Standard Version. We'll get back to that. Then shall be God. Oh, then. A few have and. But I think that it's possible. It seems probable that the understanding of this verse should be then. Because he listed a condition after condition after condition, condition. Then finally said, if you fulfill all these conditions, then you'll be my God. Thank you very much. I will reward you by having you be my God. But I don't think so. I think that it's possible. And I'm reading here from verse 20, and then from the Hebrew, and then Jacob swore an oath, saying, if God will be with me and keeps me and guards me in all this way that I'm going and gives me bread to eat and clothing to wear, and I will return in peace to my father's house, and God will be my God. In other words, that is not a fulfillment of that is not his oath. It is yet another condition of his oath.
Okay.
In other words, if I return safely, and if, see, this verse doesn't, some of the translations start with if. Where'd they go? What did I say? I lost them. I saw a bunch with if. But it's really a continuation of the if. It's, again, there are a lot of different ways to translate it, to understand it, but it seems to me that, and if I will return in peace with to my house, and if God will be my God, then this stone will be a house of God, and I will give you a tithe. In other words, it's not that I am making a condition, and if you fulfill the condition, then you'll be my God. No, I hope just the same way that you're going to save me from my enemies, you're going to give me food, you're going to give me clothing, you're going to be with me. That really means, and in general, you're going to be my God. Then I will dedicate my life. I will build a house, and I will build you tithing. So it's not like you're not going to be my God if you don't do all this. You'll still be my God, but I won't have what to await you. I will not come back to my father's house ultimately, and be able to fulfill my vow. Not that I'm going to throw you away. No. You are my God. I come from a long tradition of you being our God, my father and my grandfather, Abram and Isaac. So that's the way I understand that. But in any case, this part of giving you a tenth, that's a question that I don't have an answer for. But and I really got to go. I have to go to my evening prayer. But okay. I will say though that when we Jews think of tithing, we think of the commandment to tithe. Did you bring that in your speech? Your
No, I did not. I went from the Hebrew scriptures there in Genesis to the Greek scriptures in the
New Testament. Yeah. So if we look up my Maaser, if I look it up in Wikipedia quickly. Come on. I say quickly, but I don't really mean quickly. It's slow. Okay, 1 second. Just look at all this. This is in Hebrew. You know how Wikipedia works. If you have a word that could have a lot of different meanings, then it gives you. So these are the meanings of the commandments of tithing. You have the first tithe, the gift of the tithe. I'm not sure how that's called in English. The second tithe, the poor person's tithe, the tithing of the animal, and the tithing of monies. That's not all right. So here we have Trumot Ma'asrot. Maybe we can do this in English quickly. Please, Yofi, we've got it in English. Let's see if we got it in English. Come on. The tithe is specifically mentioned in Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy.
Yes.
So all of these things in Deuteronomy are what you separate from your grain, your wine, and your oil. And it's only in the land of Israel.
So,
as you mentioned, the first recording is in Genesis. Yes, Alan.
So would first fruits intersect with the tithe?
That's what he says over here.
Okay.
Bikurim are the first fruits. Here it's mentioned in Numbers. Again, I don't have time to go into all of this. But again, so the main thing here is that in times as they should be, with the temple standing, then we would tithe our animals because we all work in farms. None of us are high-tech people. And then we will bring it up to the temple. Most of the stuff goes to the temple. Some of it goes to the Levite. Some of it goes to the poor person. You can look it up here in an encyclopedia. Tithes in Judaism. And nowadays, what we try to do is tithe, not all of it to our synagogue. People basically tithe to whatever they feel like doing. What my wife and I do is we think of what our values are, because there are nonprofit organizations all over the place. So our values are whatever they are, and we look for nonprofit organizations that promote those values, or vice versa. We see a nonprofit organization that we like, and we say, yeah, that's a value that we like also. And then we give our tithes to those people. We try to, we really have to try to fill it up. Thank God, God has been blessing us now that we have 5 kids that aren't living with us anymore. We have a lot more. And of course, we've already reached a level in our careers that we're already actually making a good salary. Why couldn't we do the opposite? Let's have the salary when we're 60, when we're 25. That make more sense. And the wisdom to know how to have good pension plans.
Yes.
But that's what we do. We tithe out. We try to tithe our money, and that's it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's a token of returning everything comes from God's hand, blesses us with the intelligence to get out of the rain, to make money. It's his blessing. So we're returning to him a expression of our appreciation, showing trust in him for wisdom to deal with the rest of the funds we have. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been good.
And it's much too, and we barely even touched the surface. So I'm looking forward to meeting with you again. Since next week is Purim, the holiday of Purim, which we could have talked about also. We could talk about a million things. The person that I mentioned to you in our last time we spoke, that I usually do our conversations with, Dr. Richard Booker. So we're not meeting on the Tuesday or the Monday that we usually teach. So this program, this recorded conversation that we're having, we will share it with our audience, our newsletter subscribers, next Monday or next Tuesday, a week from today. And you and I will talk about the next time we will record a lesson like this. How's that sound?
Sounds good. Happy Purim to you. Is that how you say it, or?
Yeah, that's how I hear it. We say it in Hebrew. Purim Sameach. Happy Purim.
Purim Sameach.
You also, my friend. How can I see Alan Latta, so I'd call you Alan, but are you Pastor Alan, Pastor Latta, Doctor? What are you?
Alan.
Okay. Shalom to you, Alan. Shalom, shalom.